This screencast is about the export-import feature of the lab system, and yeah, so when you're within the lab system and you have the editor rights, then you'll also find an import-export menu here, and when you go here, you basically find all labs you have created here. Yeah, you could also find more labs because these are only the labs that are scheduled or visible without schedule. Yeah, so this is basically all you find when you go like on the elements page here, and you say like manage labs, then yeah, you see exactly the same labs. Okay, so when you go to the import-export page, yeah, you can get the information, you can delete as usual. And what I could do now is I could export something, but I first want to show you where it exports. So I go to the config file of this course here, and here it is. And so here you will see the parameter export import dir, and yeah, it's currently pointing to temp something. And yeah, what I want to do now is I want to point it to 2012 winter semester. Okay, I save it, and yeah, so this is where it will export. So when you do it, make sure that the PHP can write to the directory, because as we'll see, it will start creating some files in that directory. Okay, so now I go back and I press refresh, and yeah, it will be the same because the directory is not even existing yet. And yeah, what I want to do now is I would just export some labs, so you can click as many labs as you want. So the more labs you click, the more time it takes. So just take 2 for now, because that's better, because I will get the output in a second, and so I won't have that much output. So these labs are all short, so it would not take much time. So this lab here has like a 300 megabyte video, and so it would take some more time, but the other labs would not be any problem. So it works also with this one. So I mean, you have to mind the PHP timeout, but yeah. Okay, so you mark what you want to export, and now I click yes, I'm sure. And okay, you see it was quite fast, and here we see the log of the export. So this is the key where it was exported. So I will open this in a new tab. So yeah, when you have such a lab and you go to the properties page here, then you see here the metadata of the lab, and here we see the export key. And so here you can put whatever you want. So basically what will happen is, let's go to the shell. So when I go now to the temp directory and then to the directory I just made, okay, so what we see is that it's exactly taking this key. So yeah, well, it's not well readable, I'm sorry for that, but it's just taking the key, so this one here, and it's creating that directory. And yeah, here, you know, you could put some more files. Okay, so let's first go back to the protocol. So okay, so here was the protocol. Yeah, so here it's again telling you what it's exporting. Then it's interesting that it's creating a preview HTML, so this one does not contain any solutions. So there you can easily see, like, okay, what is inside this exported lab, because it contains all data. So what it basically does is it goes to the lab, and it opens the whole lab with this one here, and what you will get is like exactly this content here, and so you will be able to see everything that is inside the lab. Okay, and yeah, then it starts exporting. Here you see that it's exporting the elements by just generating some XML text files, and yeah, then what it's also doing, it's looking at local and non-local links. So it tells you, so it's also quite interesting if you want to look what is inside my lab. So it tells you which are the external links. It's also saving them here in this text file so that you know where you're linking. So this is quite useful when you want to check if all links you have in your lab are still reachable, because then you just export and then you get this one, or you just look in this file. The next handy thing it does is it collects all styles that are used within your HTML here and saves them with the lab, and when you import later it will exactly take those styles here and yeah, then just import them to the style sheet. Okay, and for the second one it's doing exactly the same. So here we see we have a little more files. Yeah, so yeah, it was exactly the same. As you see, the H2 was used in both. So when we import again later, it will just import it once because it will check, okay, it was only once. Okay, so maybe I show you what happens when we also have some files with it. So maybe let's use, well, maybe let's just use this one. I think it has some files. Okay, so we export. As you see, it takes a little longer because it's collecting the 300 megabyte video file now. So it takes some time because it's just copying. And yeah, when it's through that, then we'll see that, okay, here are many more elements. And yeah, you see also there are some external links, but you also see we have internal links. So these files were all collected, and yeah, so basically it's the same. So it uses some more styles, as we can see here, and yeah, so here's a huge video we have. Okay, so now let's have a look at the file level. So let's see again. So let's maybe just take this SCDP we just exported, and so when I go here, you see the preview HTML, and in images, as expected, you see the images. We will see a README which tells you what is inside. And when we look at the files, we see all the files that we wanted to have. So it was collecting them and storing them, and then in the CSS we see the CSS styles. So actually only the user styles is used, and the other styles are only for importing, and the other styles are only used for the preview HTML, so that you can open it and watch it. Okay, and then let's go to the data directory, because that's interesting. So here we see the data now. So let's have a look at one of these files. So this one, for instance. So you see, okay, it's just XML of the element itself. The export process automatically renumbered the elements, as you see. So within the elements, of course, so when you link inside the element to another element, it changed those links as well, and yeah, it renumbered them from 0. So yeah, this is also a good way if you like created some exercises in one lab instance and then you want to clean up, then you can just export and import them to another instance, and then it's like consecutively renumbering the elements and like defragmenting your database a little bit. Okay, so let's have a look at a P element, for instance. So okay, so what is it doing? Okay, yeah, so here we have the P element. Yeah, so you basically see all the fields. Okay. So yeah, as I told you, a nice feature is it really rewrites all the links within. That's really good. Yeah, and so the last thing I want to show you is there's this with solutions folder, and it contains all the I and M elements. And the background here is if you created a lab and you want to share it without the solutions, you just have to remove the with solutions folder, because in the import process the system is checking, okay, is there a with solutions folder? If so, it takes the information from there because it has more information. And out here, let's have a look at an M element. Oh well, no, the M elements are not interesting because, oh, well, maybe they are. No, I don't think they are. So let's have a look at the I element outside. Let's just take the 11th element. Okay, so here you see, here will be the example solution in the full data set, and if we have a look at the same file in the with solutions folder, then you see, okay, example solution, blah blah blah. So this is exactly the example solution. So I'll remove it. Yeah, so yeah, if you want to share this data set without the solution, just remove the with solutions folder, and then everyone can import it. They will get all the information, but they will not get the solutions. Okay, and so now I will just quickly make a new instance, because I have to do it anyway. So I'll take the instance from the summer term and just create the winter term, winter 12, WS, WS, WS. So own menu, own style sheet, so the rest does not matter. Okay, so preface imprint, I will have to check those later for the EPUB, but I've disabled it anyway at the moment. So then I will save it at the winter term. Okay, save. I really want to save it like that. 2012 winter term. Okay, yeah, I want to save it like that. Okay, then I have to run the setup because this is not existing yet. Okay, so now it created everything I wanted, and now I can go to this page. The only thing I want to change before is I want to use the files we just exported. So I edit the config again, go to the one we were looking at before, it was this one, and I want to use the same directory. So okay, good. So I save it like this, and so now I go to this new instance that we just created, and yeah, so here you see like winter 12, and yeah, when I log here now, when I log in here now, okay, so what we see here is exactly the one for the preface and the, yeah, so for the preface, so the one from the EPUB. So if I want to get rid of this, I just have to edit the config here and remove this C26 here, because we don't need it at the moment anyway. So well, basically I can really keep it empty because I don't have a preface at the moment. Okay, save. Okay, here do reload. Okay, then you see it's fine. So yeah, it contains the demonstration lab already. I currently only don't have all rights, so I give me all rights. Okay, and log in again. So remember, the user that has the rights here is the one from the config file. It can set the user rights. Okay, and now I'm in, and now I see the import-export, and as you see, I can see our labs here, and yeah, so let's just import the markdown demo here. So let's look at the CSS. I want to leave the page. So the CSS is like empty, and now let's import the markdown. Okay. So okay, the H2 should be integrated now. So first you see it's added here. Then let's have a look at the style sheet. Okay, so it added the H2 here, as we can see, and it added the comment when we did it. And yeah, so now I followed the link. So you've seen on the page before that you could directly edit the schedule here, because what the system does as well is it automatically added the schedule here for this lab, and yeah, if I would add more labs now, it would automatically add schedules later for always 2 weeks. Yeah, so that you can change those schedules later, and it automatically appears in the menu because of that. Okay, so yeah, basically now you know all about the export import feature, and if you want to remove something, just go here. I want to remove that, for instance, because I put a new one, and yeah, as you've seen, it's also removed here, and yeah, so all right, good. Yeah, so now you've seen everything about the import export, and yeah, it's quite useful, and we use it every semester to export import courses. And a tip from me, so what we have is, as you can also see here, we have development instances, and these are the instances where we update our courses. So we always have like an instance that is like, okay, here the course is normally running, and when we want to improve something or we find some things we want to update, we do it in this instance, and this is then the master for the next semester, which we take. And so as you see, like we use this master for some time, and yeah, so now this will become the master because we did some changes here. And yeah, and a nice thing you can do, also just like a trick, I just have to find the shell again. Let's get the shell back. When you go to the directory of your web server, and there you go to the ini. So, okay, good. Yeah, and so what you see here is that I just put some links. So I said like, okay, when you take config dev, then it points to the current development configuration. This is quite useful because then you can always use the link dev and still have like different configurations and instances, and the system is using it. And so what I will actually do now is like I will use this lab2 here, and we'll point it to the new development instance. All right, so now you learned lots of things, and yeah, I hope you enjoyed, and enjoy the system.